Hello. So today we're gonna go over. I don't know if I get bailed out this game or if it's just like understanding like units to play around, but this is gonna be like a really rocky LILLIA game that I end up getting a really good placement in. I was trying to pick a fun game, but I think next week I'm kind of front loading all of like my interesting games for like starting Monday or starting tomorrow. So I want to do like a guide, and I want to do like a couple of like the interesting ones. So as of right now, I kind of voted for Prismatic Party. I forget which portal we got. I gotta go back 1 second. Yeah, we get Prismatic. Is it Prismatic Prelude or is it Prismatic Party? Oh, it's Prismatic Prelude. Yeah, I usually like Prismatic Prelude. I think like I'll talk about a portal guide. I'm probably gonna do a portal guide either tomorrow or the day after. Because I did a little vote on the bottom of the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the content if you like the daily TFT content and you want to see like occasional guides and stuff. But basically what happened was I just kind of asked like what would you like the next guide to be, and I think the one that got the most votes is like a general set guide, which kind of feels weird because I wasn't gonna do one because the set's like almost over. Like we're more than halfway done, right? There's only like 5 or 6 weeks left, and then it's the new set. But I'll talk about set mechanics and that stuff if if people are just starting the set now. We'll try and do what the people want. If you didn't see the poll, then you can check it out. Like it's under the like community tab, and you can vote for the next guide if you want to skew the results a little bit because I haven't started making it yet. But anyways, that was all to say that whenever I see Prismatic Prelude, I think a lot of people when you see Prismatic Augments, I used to be like this in the past a lot. I used to be like, oh, god damn it. Like, it's going to be such high roll. Like, somebody's going to hit some crazy broken shit. The prismatic augments are very, like, wild in the sense of how, like, crazy they can be. The thing is, they removed so many prismatic augments. There's no, like, really giga fun ones. The only one that's, like, actually kind of broken is Jeweled Lotus. That it's, like, probably the only really strong combat augment, right? So it's, like, an insanely strong combat augment and Baboom in certain situations. But, like, besides those being, like, really strong combat augments, they're really bad to take sometimes, right? And it was Prismatic Prelude, I was holding on to Kabuko's just in case I, like, Fortune +1 or something crazy. But, like I said, like, Baboom, like, I can't take it. These are really bad to take early game because they don't do that much early game, and it's really hard to, like, you can structure your team around it, yes, but it's not necessarily the best. Altruist Emblem is pretty good here. I just don't really have an Altruist setup, so I don't really feel like going for it. I just take Living Forge, right? I'm trying this out. I really want to hit like some broken combination with Living Forge. There's a lot of really broken things you can hit. Like Living Forge is like very hit or miss here, right? Anyways, what I was trying to say with Prismatics is that like taking a Prismatic start, it doesn't really make anybody like you don't look. I don't look at anybody's spot with a certain Prismatic augment and think, oh, they just fucking won the game. Like they have the best thing they can get. You know what I mean? In my head, it's more so like I feel like if it's Prismatic start or Prismatic every augment, you can kind of pick and structure your game around those Prismatics, right? The only Prismatic that really sucks is if it's only Prismatic ending, because what happens sometimes is you have like very shitty combats or very shitty like augments like a silver and a gold and they're not that good, and then all of a sudden Prismatic happens at the end and like some guy hits like people hit like those bailout augments, right? There's a lot of third time appearing bailout augments. So for example, like Prismatic Ticket, like somebody's going to reroll the Prismatic Ticket, all of a sudden they hit everything, they win, right? Hedge Fund, and somebody just like goes 10 and just like fucking wins the game, right? There's a lot of like situations where like as the last augment somebody hits something, or like if you don't get a combat and everybody else gets a combat, then they all spike their board strength by a lot, and then you're like, oh fuck me, right? But like if it's like Prismatic start and you don't get a combat, then you can just make sure that you get 2 combats later on, right? Or try to aim towards getting 2 combats later on. If it's Prismatic all 3 augments, then you can like try and structure it away. That's what I mean. It doesn't feel like that high variance, right? This game, however, so I win the first fight. Basically, I took Living Forge because there's a couple broken augments that I really wanted to hit. Like for example, there's like Trenchcoat Lysandra, Trenchcoat Diamond Hands Lysandra. There's Forbidden Idol, Wits End, Tom Kench Bard. Right? There's a lot of these like comps that work really well with certain Ornn artifacts. The problem is there's a lot of Ornn artifacts that are just fucking straight up a grief. They're just like some of the worst items in the game, and it's so miserable. Anyways, for my start, this is kind of scary though. So, like it's prismatic, yes. I have an Orn artifact. I thought that I would be strong, and I also slammed an item, right? I slammed Shiv because I had upgrades, right? If you look at this opener, this is like the sway that sometimes happens, but I didn't think that I'd be that weak, right? I have Faded in, I have Ari upgraded, I have Yasuo upgraded, and I have Dryad in, right? This looks like an insanely strong, just generic, like, Faded opener, right? So I lose against that guy, and I'm like, okay, maybe my front line's lacking, so I pair up with the Yasuo to try and make it work, right? And also, like, I have this Yasuo upgrade. I put the, what's it called? This is, the mirror item, the Orn artifact, so that, like, you get a duplicate of your unit. So that's why I have the extra Yasuo. So I'm looking at my board. I'm like, I'm level 4. I have 5 units. I have 2 upgrades. Like, surely I'm strong. But, like, all the boards I'm playing against are, like, fucking giga strong. Like, look at this guy. He has upgrade, and this thing. Like, do I even win against this guy? I should win against this guy, actually. But the problem is, like, I'm not streaking, right? So I'm actually very broke, right? The reason I'm so broke is because if you look at the cost of my board, the cost of my board is so expensive. So I'm actually really far behind relative to other people in the game, right? If you look at it, this is 3 gold, 3 gold, 2 gold, and I have a Gnar, which is another 2 gold, right? My board is like, if I don't streak, right, and I'm low HP, I might as well just sell it and make 20, right? My board is like over 10 gold, right? In terms of like its current value is like over 10, you know what I mean? Or it's exactly 10, maybe, right? But my board value is really high, so I invested a lot of gold into my board itself. So I'm expecting to win a lot of these fights, preserve HP, and gain a bunch of gold. And we'll see in this game that that doesn't really happen, right? I already broke my streak on the second round, and like I'm not even guaranteed to streak here, right? So it's a very risky game that I'm playing. Anyways, what we're gonna do is I'll talk about Orn artifacts in general in a little bit. So I'll basically talk about like some of these items and where they work out really well, and I'll show them on like the what's it called, the Orn artifact list. But the main thing to know is that, like, maybe I should go back a little bit. What was my first artifact choice? Like, what were my options? Okay, let's just remember these: Horizon Focus, Prowler Claws, Spectral Cutlass. All right, let's just remember those. Anyways, we're back to this fight. I just skipped ahead. I skipped behind. Now I'm back to present. This guy has Accomplice, Yorick, Darius 2, an extra fucking dude, right? So again, I don't win a fight, right? So this is just awkward. Oh wait, maybe I do win this fight. Never mind, I win this fight because I leveled to 5, so I win this fight. I make 10. That's fine. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, so I win 2 fights. I think I lose this fight. I remember like not streaking at all this stage. This guy moves around the augments. That's fine. I'm not sure exactly how much the moving around matters. The moving around is bad sometimes. Like if he moves in, they're like relatively in the same spot, it's okay. This is kind of bad for me in a way because like I don't have any tailoring in that I'm specifically aiming towards, right? So there's some people that are tailoring their units, so it's like a little bit more specific to what they're playing. Here, I don't really want too much candy. I don't really think about long distance pal. I just take Portable Forge, Silvermere, Anima, Lynchbane, Ludens. Ooh, this actually this was maybe a throw. So in my head, I think that I should just take Anima, but Lynchbane and Silvermere are actually really good if I wanted to force Dryad. And I already have 2 Gnars and a QSS, but I made this Shiv. I think that's why I'm thinking really hard about it. Lynchbane is also really good. What do I end up taking? I think I just take Anima Visage. Yeah, that's kind of it. And then I find this early LILLIA. So I hold on to this LILLIA, right? I figure that like maybe I'll be strong, but then I fight this guy. And this guy's literally 4 Warden, 2 Sniper with a support dummy. Because he just hit Warden +1. And he has an Amumu and an Alawi. So there's no way I ever beat this guy. So it's kind of like expensive. This is what I mean. I'm holding a lot of units. If I sell my whole bench, I make 20. But making 20 is really important. But the problem is, it's like I can definitely play towards like a LILLIA line with this build, right? And I think that's what I'm thinking of. So this whole early game, what it means to say is that if you look at me, I'm very broke, right? Typically, by the time you get to Krugs, you want to either have board strength that you're compensating for, or you want to be at least like 50 gold, right? And if you look at me here, I'm like barely making 20 this turn. I'm barely gonna make 30. I'm gonna be level 5 30 gold, like maybe level 5 40 gold on 3-1, right? And my board isn't even that strong, right, relative to the rest of the lobby. This guy's March of Progress and he already found a LILLIA. You know what I mean? So even if I play LILLIA, I'm gonna be contested. So this is just like the gross misplay, right? When you're playing early game, this whole game is going to be very difficult. I think I get kind of bailed out from just like knowing a good line to take, right? Which can get you out of a bad spot, right? If you can out knowledge some of players on your team, or if you can like see a way out of a bad spot, there's a good chance you can like salvage stuff. My items are also horrible, right? I have cloak, glove. It's like, what am I going to make? Declaw, TG? It's like, that's not going to save me. So I can't really slam any items. If I slam QSS, right, then I'm left with cloak, glove. It's not necessarily the best item set to hold on to, right? So, like, the best thing to slam is probably TG, right? And just hold on to the 2 cloaks. But, you know, I already took Anima Visage. I don't need frontline items, right? I'm really hoping to get some backline items, but it's a little bit awkward here. So, oh wait, there's no augment now, so we can just skip to like the thing, right? Here, I'll wait through this thing. Let's go to the stats. So you know, also I want to make sure that when I talk about stats, I don't want people to like misconstrue. A lot of this is just for guidance, right? It's guidance and to ground what I'm saying with a little bit of data. It's not to say like, hey, look at these stats. This is the best. Easy clap. This is what you do every single time, right? It's more so like, hey, this is something that you have to interpret and look at in a way that makes sense, right? The reason that I'm showing the stats here is because it's just a way to like, you know, easily point to stuff and say like, look, this performs kind of well in this scenario, and maybe you can consider doing that in this scenario, right? So let's go to items, right? And let's go artifacts, right? The best artifact is Suspicious Trenchcoat, and next to that is Zhonya's, right? There's a lot of different comps that can really benefit from Zhonya's, just keeping your unit alive a little bit longer, right? They become invincible. It works with a lot of AP lines. A lot of AP lines are very strong, right? Suspicious Trenchcoat is like the Giga item. There's so many broken options with Suspicious Trenchcoat, right? There's a lot of different tech that you kind of know, like you can play Ghostly with Suspicious Trenchcoat and then just have a bunch of Shen. Silas with Suspicious Trenchcoat, it just goes infinite. He's like a fucking demon. Udyr and Ornn are also really broken because Ornn, basically if you make 3 copies of him and he just starts dropping items, your whole team is like fully itemized, right? As well as just being like a general tanky unit that has a lot of HP because of Dryad, right? Lee Sin with the stuns. One of the hidden techs that I really want to play towards, this is why I sometimes take Ornn artifacts now just to try and force it. It's a little bit troll, but there's like a Suspicious Trenchcoat Lysandra build, where if you have Lysandra Suspicious Trenchcoat, then you can build Vertical Storyweaver and then revive the Lysandra. Basically, you're going to have 6 Lysandras on the board, and she just teapots the entire enemy team. It's like fucking insane. It's like an insta-win. It's like a giga win out. But, you know, I just want to do like these fun builds so that you guys have like entertaining videos. That's mostly it, right? Because, you know, it's not... I feel like the problem with Ornn artifacts is that there's these ones, right? These trifecta, these 5... they're always the strongest, right? And a lot of them are the old Ornn artifacts, right? This is why I didn't really like it when they added a bunch of Ornn artifacts to the game, because look at the best Ornn artifacts. Besides Suspicious Trenchcoat, Zhonya's, Eternal Winter, Diamond Hand, Sniper Focus, Manazine, Infinity Force, these are all things that existed in the game already, right? Gold Collector, they added all these other ones, and there's a couple of them that are really strong, right? Like Wit's End in a Bard reroll line is very strong. Like, it's almost like you can force Bard reroll if you see a Wit's End. And then there's some of them that are very situationally strong, like Horizon Focus on certain units is really strong, right? Like Nautilus and Lux, like these units that do like full board stuns. Even Annie, because when she transforms and when she does certain actions, she stuns, right? There's certain units where it's like you put some of these Ornn items on and they really like come to light. But especially like early game, it's hard to just say, ooh, Horizon Focus, I'm going to force Nautilus. It's like you can't really say that. That's the problem, right? So when you have an item that's like very situational, it works out better when you hit it in those situations rather than force the situation to happen, right? The same with Silvermere Dawn, right? This is really good on like Riven and Gnar, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like Gnar and Riven, because it's just the way that it works of like, you know, when it stuns and they do bonus AD and blah, 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 right? But it's like even me at that spot, right? I saw a Silvermere Dawn, but I can't like take it, right? I kind of had like AP items, like I made a Shiv. So if if I had like a Bloodthirster, then yeah, I'll take it and I'll put on Gnar, it's all good to go, right? But anyways, I try to take like general stuff. Lichbane is really good on Kindred. I think this was my bigger mistake, because Lichbane Kindred, even if I don't go Kindred reroll, would have been really strong. So I should have probably taken Lichbane, and that's like one of my mistakes, right? Because Lichbane just works really well on Kindred. If you look, it's like giga strong on Kindred. But other than that, now I'm just trying to like generically find stuff, right? Spectre's Cutlass is pretty poorly performing, right? But there's a lot of these that are just like misses. Like I saw Prowler's Claw, I saw Luden's Tempest, right? I saw these things, right? Some of them are very situational, like Forbidden Idol on Tom Kench is really strong, right? But like Spectral Cutlass is very specific, right? There's a lot of these that really underperform, and because there's so many that you can miss with, like, it's kind of troll. So I wouldn't suggest like doing what I'm doing here and just taking a bunch of Ornn artifacts, right? That's the main point of what I'm trying to say in this video. They're supposed to make you like really strong. They're supposed to be like better items than you would expect. As you can see, this guy's LILLIA spot is just so much better. Literally has LILLIA with 2 items already. And I'm just kind of sitting here. I'm like literally like 30 gold level 5 because I misplayed my position a lot, right? I kind of went all in, right? I bought a lot of really expensive units, and I kind of went for this like I'm gonna streak and get the gold off of streaking, and I'm just losing every fight, right? No, like losing all of these fights is really bad because look, I have very low HP. I have a lot of board value, but the board fucking sucks, right? And a lot of the lobby is just way stronger than me. I'm one of the weakest in the lobby, and I'm one of the most poor in the lobby. So this whole stage, because my stage 2 went so bad, there's nothing I can really do this stage except just full loss streak, right? I just need to like lose a bunch of fights, and like I can't preserve any more HP, right? The only way back in this spot is to be able to make it to level 8 at one point, or to find a reroll, right? So like Gnar reroll would have been a good idea here, like Kindred Gnar reroll, just because I'm so broke that I might not make it to 8 like in a nice manner, right? But I can't really do anything. I can't roll to stabilize. I can't push levels to stabilize, right? There's nothing I can do right now because I'm so far behind on econ that I just have to like sit and make the econ. That's why your stage 2 is so important, right? If you're not going to streak stage 2 and you're not going to preserve a lot of HP in stage 2, you should just sell units, right? Like having this Ari upgrade and this Yasuo upgrade, and especially with these Ornn items, like I didn't hit, like probably Lichbane on Kindred would have killed way more units, and I would have at least preserved more HP if I was this broke, right? So that's like my great misplay, right? Even though I'm not playing technically towards Kindred, you should definitely take the item that makes you the strongest at that particular point in time. Because even though like long term it might not affect anything, these are the situations you get in when you like overgreed for certain components, right? I'm taking these Ornn artifacts because I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna hit some broken item combination that's really gonna help me and make things really strong for me late game. But instead I kind of sacked most of my early game, and I'm probably not even gonna make it late game. I have this LILLIA that I'm holding, right? The only reason I'm holding this LILLIA is because I think a LILLIA 1 is stable so long as I hit items for it, and it wasn't costing me econ intervals after I started holding it originally, right? Like last turn I wouldn't have made econ if I sold the LILLIA. But I'm basically level 5, 50 gold going into Carousel. This is one of the most broke I've been in any game ever. It's ridiculous. This guy is playing probably towards Syndra, but could also play Dryad. Oh, this is probably why. Okay, now I remember. This is why I didn't take Lichbane. Oh, did I not scout? I do remember this game. I remember seeing a build-up on Yasuo, and I said somebody's going to play Faded, so I don't want to play towards the Faded line. That's why I'm holding on to this LILLIA so hard. Because I'm kind of like saying, like, I have to play LILLIA because that Faded guy is going to fucking roll everybody. Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, wait. Okay, I feel better about not taking Lichbane now, but it was still a bad decision. I still should have taken Lichbane. Did I see him in stage 2? I don't want to go back because I don't want this VOD to be too long. I don't know if I'm like hindsighting it, but I must have seen him stage 2, or I must have had some idea of it. Because usually I do like a really quick scout, and I just like flash through, and maybe I skipped it in the VOD. But I think so. If not, then that's still on me. Anyways, I get an Ornn artifact here. I look at it, and all of these are shit, right? Infinity Force is probably my best bet. Talisman of Ascension is really troll because it just takes too long to activate. It's actually pretty bad. I'm playing towards AP, so Gold Collector isn't that good. Mittens is okay, but Mittens is usually like a frontline attacker item, right? Now, I would have had such a good Gnar setup. Imagine if I had like Silver Mirror, one healing item, and fucking Mittens on Gnar. I would have had like the Giga Gnar of Doom. But basically, I just take this this Infinity Force because it's good on frontline and it's good on backline. So I'm okay with both of them, right? I'm trying to figure out like some sort of items to make here. It's probably always slam TG now is what I decide, right? So I slam the TG. The reason I'm slamming the TG is because I made like an item trio, right? As you can see here, I have two kind of frontline items, but I at least have one Ornn item dedicated to frontline. I have, in the worst case scenario, 3 sets of items for a particular backline carry, right? Infinity Force, Shiv, and blue buff. And I have just like a general, like, you know, board item economy that I can afford to make this TG, and it's not like I need these gloves for something else, right? You might look at it and say like, oh, glove is like, you know, Jewel Gauntlet and something else for Lilia or blah blah blah. It's like, no, it's okay. It's like Thieves Gloves, just try and save as much HP as possible. I put on the Kindred just because I know I'm gonna probably sell the Kindred, and I'm just gonna try and play towards Lilia. Here, Little Buddies is okay. It's pretty good, but sometimes I feel like it's hit or miss. So I decide to just take Magic Wand because I just want to stack AP a little bit harder, right? The reason Magic Wand for me is really good is because if you look at my build here, I'm starting to pivot my board, by the way. The reason I'm pivoting is because I want my Mythic to start counting down so I can get my Mythic procs as soon as possible. Here, I'm not greeting the Infinity Force can be a really strong frontline item, so I'm not greeting it for what's her name. Oh, I didn't put the Mythic back in. Yeah, put Mythic back in. Put Mythic back in. Oh, yes. There we go. The Dry doesn't matter as much as the Mythic right now. But anyway, I still have these with upgrades. I just pair these two to make like a strong front line, right? And then I won a fight, so now, or I didn't win a fight, it was encounter. I'm hoping I don't win this fight so that I could at least streak, but I made 5 streak of gold, so my econ is somewhat recovered. It's not ideal, but I probably can go level 8 on 4-2 and still have some gold to roll, right? That was really important of why I said I had to 5 loss this round, and 6 loss is even better, right? I am going to be very, very, very weak in terms of HP, but that's what happens when you fuck up your early game. A lot of times you're kind of forced into these positions, right? That's the biggest part about playing towards these high cost units that sometimes you run into, right? I still make mistakes. This is a game of many mistakes, as I've been pointing out, right? It's not anybody in particular that is like outplaying me or outperforming me or doing some crazy shit in this game. It's more so like, hey, look, I made all these little small decision mistakes where I thought I'd be stronger, I thought I'd have this, I thought I'd have that, right? And as you can see, things kind of like get out of hand sometimes. And that's what's kind of happening here, right? I'm pretty broke, right? I'm really low on HP. I'm lowest HP in the lobby, and I'm just trying to like salvage the game, right? I'm trying to salvage the game out, and we just got to play as much as we can, right? When you're in these positions, you pretty much have to play any units that you hit, right? So you just got to build as strong a board as possible with as many units as you can. Here, I'm just making like what I think are better Lilia items. We'll talk about this Lilia itemization in a second, but basically, just so you know, I'm playing towards 4 Invoker, right? Because of the encounter, I got a bunch of tiers. Lilia, you either make a Shojin or you make a blue buff, right? With Shojin, that's when you're playing 2 Invoker, right? And when you're playing 4 Invoker, you make blue buff. Blue buff. You get what I'm saying. So because I'm playing blue buff, I really want to have 4 Invoker because then the blue buff is better than the Shojin, right? If I'm playing 2 Invoker, which is the 2 Invoker is usually when you play Lilia with Morgana pair and you play that line, then you usually play 4 Invoker. Then you usually play 2 Invoker and you put a Shojin on Lilia. It's all based on how much mana you get. Because when you have a Shojin, you get 15 mana per auto attack, and Lilia's mana is divisible by 15, so she'll perfectly time her auto attacks to do a cast, right? Anyways, there's Irelia here. Irelia is huge, right? When you're playing 4 Invoker, you have a lot of free space, right? I'm holding on to the Morgana as well in case I fit in Sage, but I'm looking for an Annie, basically. I hit Lilia too, that's fine. But there's also a Lee Sin, and there's a Diana, and there's a dude, right? So I can actually make a really strong board here, right? we put in Irelia. Irelia is really strong, right? I have a Guinsu on deck. That's why you hold on to the Irelia for sure. I just throw in the Morgana, right? I still don't have 4 Invoker. I really want to find a Annie, and then my board's pretty strong. I itemized the Lee Sin with some tank items just because, like, it was probably a mistake. It might have been like Tom Kench. I itemized my Irelia too late, so I might accidentally lose this fight. But this guy's pretty weak. The other Lilia player just didn't hit Lilia too, so I think I win. Yeah, I win. So let me explain this. Right, I'll go through like a board construction a little bit later, but this was actually really exciting for me because like I actually know how to play around this because I've done this before. You can play around Dragon Lord, Lilia, Lee Sin, and Irelia. This was a board that I actually practiced making outside of the game because if you remember, there was a patch review for those of the dedicated fans that have been watching most of my content. There was a patch review that I did a while ago where I said, I think Lilia, Lee Sin might become meta. It was right when they buffed Lilia and right when they buffed Lee Sin. And I said that might be a crazy line because you'll play 4 Invoker with Janna. And I basically like theory crafted this line, right? Right now I'm still 3 Invoker, but it's fine. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out, right? But I said this and I was like, there's like a really sick line you could probably make with like Lilia, Lee Sin, right? So that's what I'm kind of playing towards. Now, obviously, like it probably was better if I put these items on somebody besides Lee Sin, but Lee Sin is really tanky, right? He with really good like tank items, Lee Sin could actually pop off because he gets a lot of attack speed from Duelist anyways. And then this Irelia combo is so good because both of these will sunder. So, and they both do a shit ton of damage, right? Irelia as a 1 cost, 5 cost unit, like as a 1 cost unit, I think Irelia does the most damage for a 1 cost unit out of the whole game, right? Like maybe I'm wrong, like you can check the stats and like find that somebody else does. Technically, this guy does the most damage. I don't care. Irelia is fucking broken, right? A lot of times, if you just have an Irelia 1, right? The only thing that's bad about Irelia 1 is she might randomly die to somebody, right? But like this Irelia, and then with this with the Trickster's class, the Trickster's class makes it so I have 2 Irelias and they both do like a snake damage across the whole board, right? When you see the damage report, you'll see the Irelia does a shit ton of damage. I'm rolling really deep here because I'm just looking for an Annie spikes my board honestly really high. This Alawi doesn't really matter, right? I have Silas upgraded for Bruiser, right? Adaptive Helm is really good on Silas, but basically I was rolling for any upgraded unit, right? Basically, I would switch this Tom Kench for whatever, I can switch this Tom Kench for whatever synergy that I need. I just need Mythic in, right? So I have Mythic and I have Invokers, right? I play the Rakan now because it's just 3 Dragon Lord. He's going to be tankier than the Alawi right now anyways. And I just make full tank items on this Lee Sin because, you know, whatever. I'm Lee Sin paired as well. It would have been probably better to have all these items on a Silas. I understand that now, but I think at the time I didn't have the Silas too, and the Lee Sin was just getting more synergies. Technically, if I was optimizing this board, all of these items are probably better on Silas than Lee Sin, but it doesn't really matter. I could sell the Lee Sin and transfer the items, but I don't really want to because I'd rather just get Lee Sin too. I know that sounds really greedy, but I can definitely play around this position. I just need the Annie for the 4 Invoker, and then my damage output gets a lot more stable. And we hit it. So now I should just replace this for Annie, sell this, put the TG on somebody. And I should be fine now, right? This board is really stable. It's not like the strong... Oh, do I actually transfer the items? Ooh, do I transfer the items? Oh, let's go. I transfer the items. Oh, do I put the items on Annie? That's going to be so fucking sad. Okay, I put TG on Lee Sin. I think TG on Lee Sin is good. Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Okay, I actually did play this well. Oh, I was so scared. I was bracing for me making a fucking mistake, and I was trying to sugarcoat it to everybody so I don't sound like a loser. But holy fuck, I should have sold this Lee Sin like 2 rounds ago. Let's be honest. That was a fucking troll. Right, I've upgraded Silas. I'm just playing for placements. I have like low HP. Holy shit. I should have definitely sold it earlier. Anyways, now that I have 4 Invoker, my Lilia is just more efficient in her casting and her damage. So because my Lilia is more efficient, she's just doing way more damage, right? Mythic upgrades happened already. 4 Invoker is good. And then I have this Irelia that's just doing so much damage, right? The reason this combination works really well, by the way, is when you think about Lilia, right? When you think about the Lilia Morgana board, right? You probably have seen this already. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up, right? I'll like I was talk about like the Dish Soap's TFT Academy website. You can look up LILLIA Morgana. The reason LILLIA Morgana works is because this LILLIA shoots these balls that do backline damage, right? And then the Morgana makes a giant fucking snowflake that also does the backline damage. It's a very scam comp, right? The idea behind the comp is that you do a bunch of backline damage and randomly you snipe and kill some of the backline carries, right? That's what you end up doing. And then when the backline carries die, you just win the game like that, right? Because like imagine if somebody has like a Kaisa here and then you randomly kill it with Morgana and LILLIA. This IRELIA functionally serves the same purpose, right? That's why the LILLIA dual carry works, right? When you're playing Mythic, like LILLIA works because you need a second backline damage unit, right? LILLIA is good on her own, but you always need a second backline damage unit. That can be Morgana, right? You can play 7 Mythic and make a Hui, right? Why does Hui work? Because Hui does AoE and does backline damage, right? Before you used to play like LILLIA and Ashe and you used to play like that kind of line, it doesn't work anymore because like that's why the optimized LILLIA line isn't with Ashe anymore, right? Ashe is better with 4 sniper to do more damage. LILLIA is better with somebody who hits a backline carry, right? Because that's why IRELIA works in this combination, right? You can also play it with Morgana, like I said. You can play it with Alune, right? You can play LILLIA Alune. You can also play Morgana Alune. Like these units that randomly snap damage on the backline, those are the ones that you really care about here. I see Suspicious Trenchcoat. I'm definitely going to take Suspicious Trenchcoat. Fuck it, just give me more frontline. I'm down, right? So I could just put this on the Annie. Annie isn't that contested of a unit typically, so I should be able to hit Annie 2 eventually. Right now I'm greeding to go 9, because going 9 for 1 extra Dragon Lord is really big. The reason Morgana Sage, by the way, is also really strong is because the extra AP and frontline helps you out a lot. This variation, I took Magic Wand, so I feel pretty comfortable about my damage, because I do have some extra AP on the Morgana, so it's as if I have Sage in anyways. So I'm pretty good with that. Anyways, this guy is like fucking strong as shit. Faded, Dryad +1, all sorts of shit. But like I said, right, it's really stable, really strong, right? This is a variation that is so exciting to me because it's something that I thought about and I really wanted to become like, you know, quote unquote meta. But like it never really kicked off. Like nobody really talks about it as being really strong. And I understand why. There's just better variations. But this is the thing, like when you're rolling down, you have to be able to identify what your comp functionally does, right? This is more of like, I don't want to say high level TFT. I'm not trying to toot my own horn like I'm some kind of savant. I'm not, right? I kind of just clicked units, right? It's very obvious if you see an IRELIA, then you should play the IRELIA. Here I level just because I'm full streaking. And I'd prefer to just gain the streak gold. So I just decide to pump to level 9 instead of greeting till after carousel. Because if I can win this fight, I'll gain a bunch of extra gold because I'll have the 7 streak for my gold, right? This guy's strong as shit, I'm pretty sure. This is the other LILLIA player. He's doing the more traditional line, like the LILLIA Morgana line. I kind of spread my units out. As you can see, I clumped 3 of the shitter units on this side. The reason you spread out your carries and you clump them in different spots is because you don't want the damage to hit the, how do I phrase it? You don't want your damage to, you don't want your units to be clumped because then the Morgana hits the largest clump and the LILLIA will finish them off and they'll all die. He's just stronger than me, straight up. Combat caster, like this is what I was saying, right? My variation isn't as strong. I only had Annie 1. My backline got sniped before his backline got sniped, right? I only have IRELIA 1. So, you know, I just lose. There's a Sage Crown here. I don't feel like taking it. Sage Crown might have been good, but I'd rather just take a frontline item for Annie, right? Like having healing and tankiness on Annie, I think is a little bit better than having Sage in, right? Sage is really good with the Morgana line because you have 2 backline AP units. Here I have a dude, right? I have a, what's it called? I have an IRELIA, so I'd rather not. I hit Rakan 2. I am looking very fucking strong. What I do here is because I have Rakan 2, fuck the Annie. Guess what? We're Suspicious Trenchcoat Rakan, right? This Suspicious Trenchcoat is not like unit specific, right? It's just a really fucking strong item, right? If you put on a legendary unit, I guarantee it will be strong, right? And now, because I have Suspicious Trenchcoat Rakan 2, I decide, you know what? We're gonna play, what's his name? We're gonna play Azir here. Because Azir just does more damage, and I think my front line is strong with these upgrades. I know it's Tahm Kench 1 and Lee Sin 1, but I think my front line is strong enough as is that I could make do like this. right? But Rakan is really strong. Rakan reduces enemy damage, right? When he does his cast, right? That's what his main thing is. He's really tanky, and he's also just generally like a fucking demon. So now I'm just like really strong, right? Obviously, I high rolled the Rakan, I high rolled the IRELIA. I'm not saying that I didn't, right? But I had a really tough early game, and it's like that's, you know, you kind of have to hit something, right? The early game, I spent a lot of gold, and I lost to some people that had really strong boards, right? You know, sometimes it happens. Here I'm trying to think if I can optimize, right? Duelist isn't that important, but the Dragon Lord and the Duelist really helps this IRELIA, and this IRELIA is one of my main damage dealers, right? Whenever you're thinking about traits on the side of the board, you always have to think about, do these traits actually matter, right? If I had 0 item IRELIA, and IRELIA wasn't one of my dual carry units, then it would have been really fucking bad to play all of these units to support IRELIA, right? But because I have IRELIA as a main damage dealer, that's why the Lee Sin is like a good synergy bot here, right? And as you can see, Rakan 2, I beat this guy even though he's like significantly stronger than me, right? Wandering Trainer, Dryad +1, just like all this fucking shit, right? And as you can see, I think it's like a guaranteed top 4, right? Bang. Out of nowhere, we just get a top 4. Now, obviously, this was a high roll. Sometimes you hit nothing, right? But playing around this LILLIA Invoker line, right? You could easily swap this, like, let's say this line I didn't have IRELIA, right? What I would do is I would have Morgana. And then instead of Lee Sin, you have Diana. And you can play the same thing, right? The main thing is just buying the 4-cost units that matter, right? This Sylas could be any frontline unit, right? This Sylas could be an Ornn. This Sylas can be an Annie. This Sylas can be a Nautilus, right? They all work with this LILLIA comp, right? The LILLIA comp is very flexible. It's just a matter of recognizing, okay, if I'm playing Ornn, then I'm playing towards Azir to get the Dryad in later. So maybe I play a different Dryad. If I'm playing Ornn, then maybe I just play a Cho'Gath here. It's a little bit troll, but you know, it's probably not good. If you're playing a Nautilus, then you don't play this guy, right? But basically, it's like whatever frontline you hit, it's like, okay, I'm playing towards Bruiser, Sylas, so I'll just play the Sylas, right? All is good. I don't think I have enough gold or econ to make it to Sylas 3, so I just sell it. I know I made it and then I sold it, but I really need to hit IRELIA 2, right? Sylas 3 doesn't really matter to me as much as hitting IRELIA 2, and holding the Sylas on bench just makes it easier for my opponents, like this guy was holding a bunch of Ashes. If I'm holding a bunch of 4-costs on my bench, I'm making it easier for that guy to just hit his Ashe 3, right? And if he's in a better spot than me, it's really, really bad. Here, I position on the same side as Ashe, right? Because I want the IRELIA to try and snipe the Ashe, but I also want the Ashe to do less damage, right? Typically, when you're playing this comp, you want to put Rakan on the same side as the enemy carry, and then whether or not the enemy carry can burst through or do backline damage, you want to spread out your backline and have the LILLIA and the IRELIA try and tear down on one of the frontline units, right? Anyways, as we can see here, there's a Hui, you know, like I was saying, you could play Hui in place of IRELIA, right? That's an option, then you just play 7 Mythic. I'm down to find an Azir too. Right now, my board's kind of whack because, as you can see, I have all of these are paired, right? Ideally, if all of these are upgraded, I'm really strong. But it is what it is. I can't complain, right? I was in fucking dire straits. Having a lot of these paired, that's the difference between... Remember that round that I said I want to level to try and keep my streak? And I leveled to 9 instead of waiting a turn? That extra gold greeting probably would have helped me hitting these units, right? Now, this guy is level 10. He streaked the whole game, right? This Kog'Maw reroll is sometimes really broken. Sometimes it's absolute grief and you just go straight 8th. But sometimes when you hit everything for free, like this guy did... you just go first, right? He's level 10. He's so far away from the lobby. Look at how much I got railed, right? I didn't beat a single fucking unit. And because my board was so strong around the IRELIA, this guy that was definitely stronger than me, the other LILLIA player, goes 3rd. And it's a 2nd. Listen, I thought I was going 8th, right? If I showed you my spot when I was level 5 with 10 gold going into Krugs, and I had no streak gold... I think anybody would have said that I was going 8th, right? I don't think anybody was going to look at that and think to themselves, yeah, that's a winning spot. Here I'm just trying to sell. I'm still IRELIA 1, right? I think if I had IRELIA 2, maybe things can change, right? Lee Sin 2, this 2, but it's okay. But this is my variation of the board, right, that I was playing, right? I know that I said I'd do it before, but I can do it now at the end of the video, because we know this is just going to be a second. I positioned on wrong side here, right? It's really hard when there's LILLIA and this on opposite sides. Like, the LILLIA is just chunking, right? He's 7 mythic, 3-star all of these frontline units, level 10, right? It's definitely a second, right? But that's pretty much the max placement I could get from the spot that I was, right? Which is pretty good. Obviously, I'm just flickering, right? I go 8th occasionally, right? Some games I don't really know. Some games like that, you know, I don't know exactly what to do, right? I played a game that I went 8th, that I didn't buy Silas in a similar spot, and then I went 8th. But this game, like, I knew, like, oh, I can stabilize around the Silas with some Ornn items, right? I think if I lived a couple more turns, I get another Ornn artifact, which would have been pretty hype. But, you know, it's all good. Anyways, the only thing I wanted to say before we finish is I wanted to show you guys the LILLIA board. Because I know it's the end of the video and a lot of people don't last this long, but you know. Anyways, so when you're playing LILLIA, right, typically you would play something like LILLIA Morgana, and then you would play like the different Sage units. You'd play like Diana, Nautilus, and then what's his name? Alawi, that's what I'm looking for. Right, and you would have like Ghostly, Sage, Warden, and then you just play like one more mythic, which was usually a Nico, like this. See, and you have this little, this is your like core. You have Mythic, Arcanist, Ghostly, Sage, Warden. So your whole team gets a bunch of AP from Arcanist, your whole team gets AP from Sage, and your front line gets tankiness. Warden helps your front line with these two, and Ghostly helps your damage output with the LILLIA and the Morgana. And then typically you would just make extra synergies here, so you'd play like a Janna and somebody else, usually an extra Sage unit. So a lot of times you see people play like a Zyra or another frontline unit, some other mythic frontline unit, right? You can easily just play a random frontline unit, like just like fucking shoving a Silas, right? It's very flexible with these last two units. Dragon Lord kind of helps your team and gives like a whole team buff, so it's nice, but it's not essential, right? But typically what you really want is a Wukong, right? If you high roll into the Wukong, then as you can see, it's like perfect synergies and you get the extra heavenly bonus, right? The thing is, if you look at this core, there's a lot of things that are interchangeable, right? This is just like a frontline pair, and these are kind of like a frontline pair with heavenly, right? What I was saying is this is playing like a 2 invoker variation, right? You can easily like, instead of the Morgana, because basically what I was saying is like your damage is basically LILLIA and Morgana, both do like AoE kind of damage. So you want the two of them to kind of like cheese and kill the backline, right? What you could do is, in place of this Morgana, you can easily play like what I did, which was an IRELIA, right? You can easily play a Hui, right? And you can easily play like an Elune, right? Sometimes if you're low roll, you know, you hit like the Elune instead, right? Like a lot of these backline units, here, I'll remove the Janna, right? A lot of times when you're playing this comp, it's like play any two of the 5. You know what I mean? There's also some other units you can play, right? I'm pretty sure. LILLIA, Morgana, Elune, Hui, IRELIA. Yeah. So you can play like any of these, right? If you're playing like LILLIA and Elune, right? You can go for like a 4 invoker line. You can play like Janna, Kog'Maw, right? If you're playing LILLIA, Hui, then you can just play like 7 mythic, right? You can play 7 mythic vertical if you hit the Hui, right? If you're playing LILLIA IRELIA, then you can play a board variation like I did, where you have like Dragon Lord and random frontline duelists and stuff. And if you're playing LILLIA Morgana, then you have the LILLIA Morgana Sage line, right? That's just like the little take-home notes, the little spark notes for it. I might do like a more full guide on this. I think Froden just released a guide on LILLIA, which is really funny because I was planning on doing this video anyways today. So hopefully like synergize a little bit. Some people watch that one, then watch this one and see like a different line if he didn't talk about the IRELIA variation. But yeah. Just be open to these options, right? Be very flexible. And the same with your front line, right? Especially if you're in dire straits, right? Tunnel visioning on one unit typically won't save you HP, right? I just played a random Silas for most of the game, and I gave him 3 items, right? Was that a Silas game at all? No. Was it a Sage Silas game? No. It's an upgraded 4 cost. What can I do, right? It's better than having no upgraded 4 cost. If it was an Ornn, I would have done the same thing, you know? But anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you around.